Hello, welcome to another construction video. So today's one is showing you how to put together the How Does Your Garden Grow watering can, and I'll also tell you the differences between the watering can and the jug that you can create in this one as well. And then at the end of the video I also wanted to show you how to put together a couple of the flowers from the Whimsical Blooms die set as well. There'll also be an up close video showing you multiple samples of different flowers and watering cans and jugs and stuff that will be up as well. So, and if you want a closer look at all the dies that are included in these two sets, I'll show you in that video. This one is just going to be the construction for you. So I've already got everything ready so that it makes it a bit quicker to do the construction. So for the watering can, you need 6 sides, which I have added my decoration to already, and I've put this heart lower down because of where the like the pouring spout of the watering can needs to go on this one. Then you also need 2 of this piece. There's another piece that also looks like this one, but it's the larger one that is the base, and you need 2 of them, and you also need to chop off the this middle tab from one of them because you only need one of the tabs to stick them both together to give you your hexagonal base. Then you also need one of the smaller portions of this, and for the watering can you can cut the trellis detail into it, but for the jug you can leave it solid. So that's the 2 sort of differences between the jug and the watering can. You also need the handle, which I've already stuck together. You get both sides of the handle, so you cut both of them, glue them together around this bit and leave the little tabs open so that you can stick it to the jug or the watering can. Then you also need, for the watering can, you need the handle. You don't really need a handle on the jug, but for the watering can you need a handle. I've already layered mine up and curved them as I was gluing them so that it's now dried in this curved position. And I'm also going to put mine on with a couple of purple brads just because I thought it would look quite nice. You don't really need the brads, although it would mean that you could tilt the handle down to the side if you wanted to. Then for the spout of the watering can, you need this weird looking piece, which is the main portion of the spout. And then I think you only need 1 solid and 1 with the detail cut in, but I've actually been doing 2 solid ones. So that's the next part to make these the pouring spout for the watering can. And then for the milk jug version, there's a smaller die that creates like the little spout for the milk jug, but I'll have shown you that in the up close video. And then to make the inside of the watering can look a little neater, you can also cut a hexagon out. You don't get this hexagon die in with the die set, but all I did was, once I'd stuck my base together, I folded all of the tabs round and drew around it to get the rough size of the hexagon, and then I just trimmed it out because it doesn't need to be completely perfect because it's going to be inside. It's just sort of hiding this glue tab join inside. It's just going to make it look a little bit nicer. And then these are some of the kind of flowers that you'll make, and I'll show you what you need to do those later on as well. So first thing, for the watering can, we want to start building the net of the can, so like the main base piece of how it all goes together. So firstly you want to take this portion, which is the base piece where you've cut one of these tabs off and put glue on the other one, and you want to peel the tape off of here and stick these together to create your entire hexagonal base for the watering can. Or for the jug. It's the main construction is exactly the same for the watering can and the jug. You're just changing the type of spout that goes on it, and whether you have the latticey piece or the solid piece really is the 2 differences. So you want to stick that together, and then you want to fold all of the tabs. I've already put all of my red liner tape on everything because it just makes it a little bit quicker for a video, but you can also use wet glue to put it together if you want to, although you might want to have little pegs and stuff to help you hold everything together whilst the glue dries as well. But you just want to score all those lines. I've used 3mm on these bottom pieces because they're quite narrow glue tabs, but I've actually used 6mm on the sides of the watering can. So just if you've got multiple different widths, then you know, just see which one will fit perfectly on which glue tab. I do think 3mm is one of the best tapes to have because, you know, that's the narrowest kind of one you can get, so you know it's going to fit on every single glue tab, and you can always use a couple of strips of it if you want to. So now we want to remove these and start sticking the panels on. We want to make sure we fold that glue tab on these ones before we stick them on, because it'll just make it slightly easier when we come to put it together in a minute. And I've also done a pattern of light and dark switching, so I need to make sure that I'm putting them in the correct order all the way around the watering can as well. So we're literally just lining up, if I zoom in a little bit, we're just lining up this score line here with the bottom of this panel to create the sides of the watering can. So really easy to line up. And just fold that one again. I love how simple Tonic dies are, and they just give you such a professional finish because everything is die cut and got that beautiful beveled edge for you as well. And I mean, imagine figuring out how to make this. I mean, it's doable, but it would take you ages. With these beautiful dies, you can do it so quickly. I mean, it's still like, you know, at least an hour kind of a project, but way quicker than if you had to think about all of the engineering behind it as well. And then last one. Oh. Fold this again. Okay, so that is the main net of the box, and then you can flip it over, and I'm just going to stick this on the inside now. I might need to trim it a little bit. No, I think that's all right. So I'm going to stick that on the inside to cover up the join in the base. You can also do on the outside as well if you want to, but it looks neater on the outside because you haven't got the glue tab coming over it. You've just got a line down the middle. And it's much easier to put this in now rather than after you've built this up, because it gets narrower towards the top, and trying to fit a larger hexagon through a smaller hexagonal hole is kind of a little bit tricky. You can also put panels on the inside too, which is better to do once you've put it together, because you can kind of hide where these two glue tabs sort of overlap as well. But there's not, I mean, it's the same all the way around, it's just sort of one glue tab here, one glue tab down here, so it doesn't look too ugly from the inside. So there's not like a definite need to line the inside of it as well, which saves on some die cutting, which is good. And then all you want to do is take off the rest of the red liner tape. I'll just do 3 at a time, and line up this scored line with the edge of the next panel to start building your actual watering can shape. And you can just press it all the way down from the inside and the outside. So easy to put together. I'm always amazed when I put Tonic dies together, because you're kind of like, is it going to look as good as I'm imagining it in my head? But it always turns out looking even better than I'm imagining that it's going to turn out. Okay, and then last 3 sides. Gets a little bit more tricky as you get to the last side, but I like to fold this glue tab in and then fold this one in, and then that one's kind of out of the way and you can focus on this one and then come back to the last one. So you can see it wasn't in the way then, it was sort of folded backwards a little, and then we can do the final one up. So that is the main portion of the watering can. You can see how it's tapered in slightly, so it's slightly smaller towards the top end. And then, because I've changed the decoration for where the spout is going to be, I want the spout on this panel. So when I'm thinking about putting this grate piece in, I'm going to want it to be here. And I also want the handle for the watering can. If you look on the packaging, the handle is coming just where the spout is and up to the opposite side. So I want to put my handle here. So I'm going to make my hole and put my handle in now, or at least get the hole ready to put the handle in now. I'm not actually putting it in yet, but so I'm actually just going to pick a point on the pattern, because I know the spout wants to come about here. So if I go through this portion of the pattern and poke a hole through, ready for my brad later, and then I can spin it round to the opposite side, and I know that I can put a hole straight through there, and then it's going to be in the same place on both sides. And on the handle there's like a little tiny flower in the decoration, and I've just been poking a hole through that last flower and putting the brads through that to attach them. So we've got that ready, but we're going to stick that little grate piece on first because it's going to be easier to get that stuck on before we put the handle on. Okay, so I've got the brads ready in there, but we want to put that grate piece on. So this has tiny little glue tabs, so you want to be careful with this because you cut the detail into it, so it's quite delicate, and you just want to fold all of these glue tabs. And again, I've added 3mm tape onto here because they are really skinny little glue tabs. And then I'm going to take the tape off of all of them in one go, and as well as using the tape, I'm also going to use glue for this too. Just in case it starts to stick in the wrong place, the glue will help you move it around slightly to get it in the perfect position. Okay, so this is the front because that heart is lower down, and so we just want to place this in here. We want it to be right up against the top edge, and then going around those three sides. And you can just press from the inside and the outside to get it to stick nicely. Okay, so that's all in place. So that is like the little front piece of the watering can, and it's going to tip that way. Then we want to put the handle in. This is like the little carrying handle to go on the top of it. So we can poke that through the little pilot hole we made in the front. And then we can just splay the little brad legs out on the inside, and then do the same on the back. And I just thought, actually, on the other watering can that I've made that you'll see in the up close video, I put this and the back handle on, but actually you don't need the back handle as well, do you? I mean, some watering cans do have both handles, but if you didn't want to, you could just leave it with the top handle and not the back handle. I'll put the spout on and then see how I feel about having the back handle on it as well. But so yeah, look how quickly this has come together. We're almost finished with it. So the next piece is the little spout, which I was putting the back together first. I put glue on all of the little tabs, and I was taking this piece off and bending these two pieces round to get the shape of the spout. And then this is the piece that I haven't quite done that right. There we go. This is the piece that's then going to stick to the front of the watering can, and that's how the spout is going to attach to the watering can. But we need to make the spout piece to go on the front first. So I'm going to bend this one this way, so the professional edge is on the outside of this little disc for the first one, and we're going to stick that together. And then I'm going to make it so this glue tab is towards the bottom, and we're going to place this inside here and stick these two tabs to either side of that to hold it into place. So we can take the tape off of these. So I want the seam to be towards the bottom, and then you just want to push these either side onto the disc, and that's how you create the main portion of the spout. But now you've got the little seam on the inside here. We've got the professional edge on the back, which is what we wanted, and then to cover this up, I was then taking a second one of the solid and then bending it the other way, so the professional edge is now on this side, the inside of it, rather than the outside. And we're going to take the tape off. So we've now got this piece. And then we also want the pretty decorative piece to go on top of that. So again, you're doing it so the professional edge is on the inside. Then I was sticking this to the inside of here, just lining up their glue tabs. You might as well have them both in the same place. And going around the die cut detail on this as well. Then we want to place this inside here. So then that now covers up the glue tabs that are in there. And we put this on and it looks more like a little watering can. So I was just adding glue to the back of this. These actually look like, you know those little cones when you did PE at school and you had the little multicoloured cones that went on a little stack? It looks like those. Okay, so we can just press that into place. So it now looks neat from the front and from the back. And I was also doing, I did it on the other one that I did, taking a small circle punch and then just punching a piece of purple card out. I just thought this finished it off a little bit nicer. And then moulding it with a flower shaping tool a little bit. Actually, I think I did it the other way. I think I moulded it that way. And then just sticking that over the centre hole. I don't know if it makes it look better. I think it does, so I'm doing that, but you don't have to. That's not actually part of the die set. But I think it just makes it look a little bit nicer. And you can also have things dangling out of the front of the watering can as well. On the packaging, Alison's done a really cool like cascade of hearts coming out on invisible thread, and on the other one that I've done, I tried to recreate that kind of idea, but using the water droplet gems that Tonic brought out, and I think that looks really good too. But I've left this one just without anything coming out. Hello, future me stepping in here. I had a request from Joanna to show how I did the falling droplets coming out of the spout of the watering can. So I'm not sure exactly where I'm going to slot this into the video, but you'll know that it's an extra clip because the colour will completely change of the watering can that I was putting together. But there's a couple of different ways of being able to like attach the invisible thread with the gems coming out. I'm not sure how Alison did it to begin with on the packaging, but the way I did it was I did use water droplets in the other one that I had done, but I've got my hearts closest to me, so I thought I'd just do a heart one just to show you a different way of doing it. I did it with all three sizes of the water droplets as well, and you just basically get some invisible thread, and then all I was doing was putting a little bit of glue. Actually, I think maybe I used red liner tape actually and glue. Let me get a little bit of red liner tape. So if we just use 3mm, and then where's the end of the invisible thread gone? So if we just take the end of it and put a little bit of tape around it, and then we can remove the backing off of this. It's quite fiddly to do this, but I think it's worth it. So, oh, I actually just took all the tape off of there rather than taking the backing off. Sometimes it's easier to take the backing off before you wrap it around. There we go, done it this time. Okay, so now we've just got like a little piece of the adhesive on our invisible thread. So then I was just taking one gem, and if I zoom in a little bit closer, if I was just taking one gem and, oh no, it needs to go this way up, doesn't it? Because I want it to hang the proper way. So I want it to go from top to bottom. And we just press that tape in the centre of it so it sticks, fold over any excess, and then add a little bit of glue onto here. And put the other gem on the top. And then just squeeze that together so that it dries. I had actually left these, when I did the water droplets, I think I left them overnight to dry. So you might want to leave these for an hour or two and then come back to them, you know, do them all and then come back to them. And we can cut any excess thread that's hanging out the bottom as well. But I'm just going to hold this for a bit and then I'll come back. Okay, hopefully that will hold together enough for me to just show you how I attached these. So all I did was just take a long length of the invisible thread, so you know that's probably like 30 centimetres extra thread on it just to make sure I've got enough. Then you could bunch all of them up together and then stick them, if I try and draw a dot on the inside, you could stick them here, which is like inside, oh, it's not even, yeah, it's drawing, which is like inside the spout. So you could take a whole bunch of them and stick them here, which is at the top of the inside of the spout, so they would dangle downwards like this. Especially if you used wire rather than invisible thread, they would give a nice like cascade coming out of the end of the watering can. But the way I did it was I took these pieces, and I had multiples of them. I think I tied them all at the same time. I can't 100% remember, it was quite a few months ago now. But I took the thread, went up through the back of the spout, out through the front, and then I'm basically just going to tie it around where this seam is. So you just want to pull the thread through to get it to a kind of height where you want the gems to be dangling. And then just do a couple of knots in it. So it's really, it's fiddly, but it's simple. You know, there's nothing complicated. It's literally just tying a knot just around the spout there. And we can adjust the height a little bit as well. Invisible thread is kind of difficult to knot, so you might want to do like maybe 3 or 4 knots with it, just to make sure it's nice and sturdy. Oh, that's 2 knots, that's alright. I'll do a third one just to make sure. Okay, so we just tie it on like that. Now currently the knot is down here, but if we want them to look like they're coming out of the watering can, we just want to slide that around so the knot is actually, it's not really in focus, so that the knot is actually in this part here. I hope you can see that. I don't know if it's going to focus. There we go. So the knot is actually up here now. And then we just want to cut off the excess of the thread. Obviously you would have all of them in here, but you could just cut off that. Actually, you could either cut it off like that, or if you wanted it to be extra secure, you could poke the thread back through the back and attach it to the inside of the spout in there as well if you wanted it to be extra secure. But I'm pretty sure I just cut mine off. So we'll just cut that. Oh, missed it. We'll just cut that there. Okay, so now we have, imagine there's more than just one gem, but we have them spilling out of there, but we can see the thread and we haven't finished the watering can yet. So now you would take this piece, which I showed you in the video that I'm partway through editing, and you'd literally just thread the gems through that hole, and then you would stick this in place, and then it looks as though the gems or the water or the little heart die cuts are all coming out of the centre. So I hope that helped you, and anybody else that was wondering how that was done. I mean, I'm not sure if Alison did it a different way for the packaging, but that's how I'd put my ones on there. So hope that helped. I'll pass you back to past me now. And then we can just add the spout to the front of the cute little watering can. Doesn't that look, just looks so beautiful? And I'm going to add a little bit of glue on here as well. Oh, and I've decorated the spout piece. It does come with little pieces that decorate it, but I use them on the other one. But there's a small heart die in the die set, and then on all of these little hearts, there's also a small heart that drops out of it. So I've used all of those to decorate the little spout, which I thought was a nice idea. And then I'm just going to place the spout onto here. There's not like a specific place that this has to go. You can kind of just place it wherever you think it should go, really. And then that is your beautiful watering can, which it doesn't really need the back handle, but I have already cut it, so I don't know, should I put it on? It does look really sweet with the back handle as well. No, I will put it on. So you just stick the two of them back to back and you have both of the different ones, which is really nice. It's similar to the teapot and the teacup handle. And you can also use the spout from the teapot on this too and make it into a different kind of pouring jug as well if you want to. I have done that on one of mine that will be in the up close video. So I'm just going to add glue on this as well, because I'm actually going to stick the top of the handle over that brad, because it just works out the perfect placement for where the handle, or where I want the handle to sit. And you do actually get full instructions in these die sets. So again, my video is kind of a little bit redundant because you actually get given the instructions in the die set, but I do think it's nice to watch somebody make one. I always learn from watching, so I think I've said that a few times. But anyway, that is the little purple watering can, and then I've done these flowers to sit in it. So I'll be back in 1 second to show you how to put the flower together as well. Okay, so this watering can needs one more purple flower in it, so I thought I'd show you how I created the ones that I've already done. And so to do this type of flower, because there are 2 different types of flower, well there's actually 4 different types of flower, because there's different types of petals and flowery shapes, but there's 2 like styles of flower. One of them involves these pieces as the stem and has a flower that sits perpendicular to the stem looking upright, and the other one involves these kind of pieces for the stem and has the flower facing you, being like in line with the stem as well. So I'll do the purple flower first and then I'll show you the sunflower. So the purple flower is really easy. I cut one of each of the sizes, bar the smallest 1 or 2, alternating the colours between light and dark purple, and then I've just shaped them with a ball tool. All I did was roll over the back of the petal, flip it over, and then run around in a circle just in front of the petals. I've already layered these ones up, and look what I've put in the centre. If there's any of you that have been collecting Tonic for a while and you've had lots of their dies in the old packaging, you'll probably have a big collection of these little pins. They're all in different shapes. This is one of my little pots of them. So you could have put a star in the middle if you wanted to, or there's lots of circles, there's even butterflies. You could decorate the watering can with a butterfly. I could add a pink butterfly on the watering can if I wanted to. I might actually do that. And there's also blue ones as well. I don't know if I have many blue ones. And there's green too. So depending on what type of dyes you've bought in the past, you can tell I've got a lot of the orange ones. I had to dig through and I only had 3 pink circles, so it was perfect for this, so that I could use them in the centre of the 3 flowers. And then to accommodate for the little pip that's on the back of those pins, I took a hole punch, one of those screw hole punches that you push down and it makes a hole, and it has like a small sized hole, and I pushed it through so that the little pip is sort of holding all the flowers together. They're all glued together as well, and there's actually 3D foam underneath the centre of this. And then I've also done a hole right in the centre of this one, which I'm going to push that through as well. But before I do that, you have to attach this bottom flower to the stems. So the way you make the stem is you need 4 of these pieces, and you stick them together like this. So you have 2 that are like this, you do 2 like this again, and then you stick them together. So we'll take this off. Oh, don't need to take that off yet. We're just doing the stem part first. So if we do that, then we can stick these 2 together. And line up down the stem. And then press that down. So we've got the other half of the stem, and now we're going to stick these 2 together. So I'm going to take my tape that I've got on both sides of these and then put some glue on here as well, on this portion. And then we can just stick these 2 together to create our like 3-dimensional stalk for our flower. And I can line it right up down the bottom, and you get the little cross of all of them meeting then, so you've got the 4 of them all together. Then you want to attach your flower onto this. So I was actually using 3D foam between this portion of the flower and this piece. So I want to get some 3D foam and put it in these little sections here. Okay, then I want to take the backing off of these pieces. I haven't actually looked at the instructions of how you're supposed to stick this in, but this was just how I was doing it. So I've got 3D foam in there, and then I was poking all these bits through here, and I've already put tape on these, but I put tape on the insides. There's 8 little tabs with tape on, and the way I've done it is I've done that, and then I've pressed down and pushed the tabs to either side and stuck them to the bits of foam tape, so that where I put the tape on is now facing upwards. And just fold the rest of these over. And then we're going to stick the flower on top of there. So now we need to take the backing off of all these little pieces, and I'm going to use glue as well, because we want this to be nice and strong, because it's the kind of thing that someone, I mean, as well as putting a gift in there too, someone might want to keep it, you know, say you put some chocolates in there to sort of hold the flowers upright, someone's probably still going to want to keep the watering can with the flowers in afterwards, so you kind of want them to be nice and sturdy so that they'll last a while. Okay, and then put a little bit of glue on there, and then we're going to poke the, oh, actually I want to put some glue in there, because we're going to poke that little pip from the little badge off the Tonic dies into that little hole, and that should keep it nicely in place. So that is how easy it is to make those flowers. You can just stick the flowers on top of each other. Obviously you don't have to use the little pins from the old Tonic packaging. I just thought they would work perfectly. On one of the other ones that I've done, I used buttons in the centre of the flowers, which work just as lovely. Or you can just layer up the smallest of the flowers, or you could even put a brad in the centre of them as well if you want to. But that is how easy it is. And then you also want some leaves. I haven't put leaves on this one actually. So I've got a few, you get 2 different sizes of leaves in the die set. I've got a few different ones lying around. Oh, it was an extra petal. Okay, so on this one actually, I put some leaves, and then I also used some of the smallest flowers and sort of scrunched them all up to try and make a little bud type thing that's just coming off of that one, just to give it something extra, so it's not just 3 flowers that all look the same. And then we can put a few leaves on here. So I think I will just stick to the same colour green leaves on each for these ones. So I'm going to put 2 coming off this side. These are all the smaller leaves that I've got here. You can mould and bend the leaves as well if you want to. I quite like to put a fold down the middle of them. And then I think I'll put that one up here. So it's got 3 little leaves on it, and then we'll use some bigger leaves on this one and add that on. And a little leaf next to it. And obviously you don't have to decorate the watering can with flowers with stems on. You can just decorate the watering can with a cascade of flowers down the side of it, which I've done on one of my other samples as well, just to make it look a little bit different. Okay, so I think I'll go with that for these flowers. And then we kind of want to arrange them in the watering can as well, because you know, like when you get a bunch of flowers, you don't just take them out the cellophane and dump them in a vase. You sort of chop the ends of them down, change the height of them and stuff. So we could have all three of them the exact same height, or we can trim them down, because if they're all the same height, I know they do sort of fall over and stuff, but it's kind of nice to have them at different lengths. So to chop them, just fold that cross section flat and then just take your scissors and chop off a little length of them. So then that one is now slightly shorter than the previous one, and then I can make this one even shorter. And you can even have them in that portion of the watering can as well. If you wanted them to stay more in position, you could actually slot them through the lattice portion as well. And I do really want to put that butterfly on there. I think I might just stick it in there. I think that works really nicely. So I'm just going to stick that through the lattice onto there. So who'd have thought you'd find such a great use for those little pins that you might have been saving for ages off of the Tonic packaging. I mean, orange is a really good colour for a centre, and I seem to have hundreds of orange circles, so they would be perfect for the flowers. I only had the 3 pink ones, but I'm glad I did have the 3 pink ones, because I think it goes perfectly with this watering can. And then so you've got the beautiful watering can with your gorgeous flowers inside. And then the other flower I was going to show you is a sunflower. I mean, it's not quite a sunflower because the centre's not quite big enough, but instead of just keeping the centre that you make by putting these stems together, I decided to look through my stash of like random bits and pieces, and I found these resin flowers, and they were the perfect brown colour, and I had 3 of them, so it was perfect. So I thought I'd show you how to make this one as well. So for this one, again, you need 4 of the stems. And when I've been putting the stems together, I've actually been putting 3mm red liner tape down both sides of the fold on 2 of them, and then nothing on the other 2. And then as I've been making them, I've always been taking off the side closest to me, and then putting that a little bit of glue on the top of it as well, and then sticking the one without any tape on onto this one. And then pushing this together. And then the same on the other one, make sure you take the same side of tape off, so the one that's closest to me. And then put a little bit of glue on the top and stick these 2 together. And then now, because we took the same side off both times, when we go like that, we're going to have the tape on both sides of the pieces, so that'll actually be tape already there for us. But before we do that, we need to add this piece in. Obviously you could cut this from the same colour green, but you're actually going to hide it, and you'll only see it from the back, so it doesn't matter that it's a different colour. But here I have actually mixed the different coloured leaves in as well, so it kind of works. And then this piece is to go between these 2 stems, and this is what you're going to stick your petals to. I can't remember what the instructions say about how you put this round. Maybe it was those 2 are behind. It doesn't really matter though, because you're not going to see it. But it's just to secure all the petals into place. So I've just been sticking it, these 2 pieces at the front, and then behind this first piece you've then got the 2 tabs there, so you can take the tape off this one and that will secure that tab down because the tape was going underneath it. And then on this side we can just add a little bit of glue. Then we want to take the tape off the back of the other 2 that are stuck together, and now we can add more glue on here, and we can stick the 2 of these together to give the actual flower piece. Okay, so that is the actual flower stalk, and then you can see here, you're supposed to then I did actually colour the top pieces of this brown, so I had a brown centre, but you're then supposed to leave this piece as the centre, and you just stick all of your petals onto the green bit up to that circle area. But I wanted to use this resin piece, which is a tiny bit bigger than that circle area, but to give you a place to stick it onto, all you do is pick which side you want to be the front, whether it's that side or that side, doesn't really matter, and then snip off that semicircle that's sticking upwards, and then just angle your scissors down. So you've now taken off that semicircle, and you've now given yourself a place for that resin flower to sit, or it could be buttons. I did pink flowers with buttons for one of my other watering cans, and that worked really nicely. So then we can just stick that resin flower on there. Then, to make the petals, I've got one more to stick together to show you. You're supposed to, in the instructions, just cut 12 petals. You get 3 of the petal dies, so it's only 4 passes through the machine, so it's not too bad. But for this one, I actually cut 24 petals, because instead of just having one set of petals that go round, I've actually stuck an extra set on top in between to give it more of that sunflower kind of a look. So for the petals, you just have these pieces and you fold them in half down the score line, and then you put glue on half of one, and then just take the other one and stick it up against it. So you're then left with this kind of a looking piece, and you want to do that for all of them, so all of your petals are doubled like this, so that you've then got the kind of 3D element of your leaf or your petals. And on my pink flowers that you'll see in the up close video, I stuck 4 together, so it made it like a really pom-pom kind of a petal. And you do get a different style of petal with these as well. This is more of like a pointed one that could be for a sunflower or a daffodil or something. You do get more of a rounded one that might be more like daisy looking as well. And then I also did something a little bit different. So when in the instructions it says to start placing your petals here, but I wanted to have a complete flower, so I have taken 2 extra of the like single petals I haven't stuck together and stick them either side of the stalk down here. So you're actually starting the petal off in this section. So if I add a bit of glue onto there and on the other side, we can then stick that one, butting it right up to that resin charm on there, and then the other one that I've got left as well, glue on both sides so that it'll stick, and then butting that one up there and joining them together, and then that just gives a petal coming downwards rather than them just starting like this. You then got one coming down the stalk as well. So to build up this double layer, I've got all of the other ones made, all of the little petals that I need, and to make this a double layer, we're just going to go round from here, and we want to put 6 on the first layer. So we've got 1 here, then we want to do 1 opposite this, and you just want to put some glue on that bottom portion and then stick it in opposite and press it on so it's going to stay stuck, and then we want to put 2 in between each of these so that we've got 6. So we'll put like 1 here. Doesn't matter if they're perfectly placed or not, or spaced, because we're going to put other ones in between, so it doesn't matter that you can see green. And on the normal flower, obviously this centre is slightly smaller, so these gaps will not exist. It'll be the perfect positioning. If you follow the instructions, it shows you exactly where to place them. And we'll put 1 there, and then 1 here. Then to fill in those green gaps and to make it look more like a sunflower, we're going to go in with 6 more petals. Again, putting the glue on the bottom and then pressing them in between the ones we've already put on. So we're filling out the flower. You just want to make sure they're going to stick nicely. If you wanted to, depending on how you're using these flowers, you might want to repeat this on the back so that it is more like double-sided. But if you're just putting them as decoration inside a watering can, you can just leave them single-sided. It will save you quite a bit of die cutting with all the petals. And then final petal will just go on there. So that is the basis of the sunflower. On my one I actually went round the centre and I put some English mustard Nouveau drops in there, and I also added on some of the pollen that Nouveau do as well. Okay, so we got to that stage and now we want to put the leaves on here. And then I'll show you one last thing to finish it off as well. So I'm going to do the same leaf arrangement that I did on the other one because I like how that looks. So we'll do a big leaf and then a smaller leaf from a different green tone. And then a bigger one from the grass green. A bigger one from the olive colour. And then a smaller olive one as well. And then you can see on this one, my final touch is a little ladybird. I pinched this idea off my mum. I used the red berry Nouveau drop to create my little Nouveau drops. And then to make it look like a ladybird, instead of faffing around with black Nouveau drops over the top of it, you can just take a Sharpie and you can draw the little face piece onto the ladybird and draw the line down the centre. Obviously you wait till they're dry, I don't know if I just said that or not. And then you can draw the little spots on them too. That wasn't very good, so it was moving around, but you get the idea that you can then turn them into little ladybirds and just add them straight onto your project as well. So I thought that was a really cool technique, that's why I pinched it off my mum. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this construction video showing you how to put together the two different types of flowers from the How Does Your Garden Grow, from the Whimsical Blooms, and then showing you how to put the watering can together from the How Does Your Garden Grow. And don't forget, you can swap out this spout for a normal little spout to make it into a jug, and you don't have to put the top handle on as well, and you can change out this from being a lattice to being solid too. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the construction video. Don't forget to watch the up close video as well if you want a real up close look at what dies you're getting in both of those die sets too. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again in the next video. Bye!